Okay, and hi everybody, welcome to the weekend edition of The Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Waiting for Facebook to catch up. It looks like it finally has caught up, so thank you everybody for tuning in. Joining me today is, well, so far, Beth Alcazar from USCCA, Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie and Charlie's GunGrams. What I want to start with today, we've got obviously the weekend edition of the Bullet is designed as a weekend review, and we're going to be getting to that. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about this week. However, we've got some unfinished business to take care of. The last time these two joined me, Tony Simon was along with. He's supposed to be along with today. Apparently, he's having some connection issues. As soon as he's able to join us, we'll bring him in too. But the last time we were all together, somehow or another, a Sesame Street song got brought up. And the upshot of that, well, Charlie, go ahead.
So I don't know how it came about, but we decided to make a gungram of one of these things is not like the other from Sesame Street. And so we all the four of us made some videos, and I was able to put these together in a gungram of sorts. And I think everyone will get a laugh out of it and enjoy it. And they'll have to figure out which one of these is not like the others. All
right. And that is, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead, and this is the world premiere for this video, right?
Yes, the world premiere.
All right, we're going to go ahead and premiere it right now. Enjoy for the next minute.
One of these things is not like the other. This one is not.
All right. First of all, I have to apologize because there were other people in the range as I was there, and my words got kind of flipped off. And joining us, looks like from his car, Tony is here.
All right.
Hey, sorry guys, I double booked. I actually have a speech I have to be making at 1:00. An hour from now. I mean, actually, supposed to be making it 1. I won't be there until like 2. So, hey, I'm on the show.
I need to ask a favor of you, Tony. Can you turn your phone sideways for me, bud? There we go.
There we are.
Coming from the Freedom Mobile, baby.
There you go.
Nice.
90 miles an hour on 287, because I'm making it happen.
Wow.
This is better than dash cam video.
I know, right?
Looks like there's a motorcycle. Hopefully it's not a police motorcycle that's there beside you.
Oh, I mean, all they do is pull me over and go, wait a minute, you're Tony Simon, the largest pound-for-pound gun bunny in America. Sorry to disturb you, sir.
Be on your way. As you were.
Be on your way. You're a 2A supermodel. I'm sorry for stopping you.
That's awesome. Oh, my gosh.
Hey,
all right.
How's it been? How you been?
Man, it's been a week. It has been, well, a few days. It's been a monumental few days. So, we just Tony, to bring you up to speed, we just premiered that video, and I myself had a ton of fun with that. I obviously got to shoot a full auto Glock Model 18, which that's always fun to get to do that.
You had to take one for the team for that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, the sacrifices I make for my job are just, I'm telling you.
Well, there's team players, and then there's you, man. I mean, you're the Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? You're the GOAT. You took the hit.
Absolutely.
Well, and I just have to add that since I don't own Glocks except for one 43, I borrowed a firearm from a student who was shooting her qualification. So I told her, I said, look, I'm only going to use 5 rounds. I promise it'll be really quick, really simple. So we snagged that video very quickly on the way out from a shooting qual.
Oh my God, that's
nice.
Awesome. I did a GunGram of the Hong Kong theme, and I borrowed an HK from somebody. But the funny thing is, I asked a friend, I'm like, hey, do you have an HK? He's like, I don't, but I know someone who does. So I had this complete stranger meet me at the range, and I borrowed his gun. I'm like, I know this is really kind of weird. Just stand back and be quiet, and everything will be fine. But I play the trumpet and shoot a gun at the same time. And the guy's like, okay, I think I've seen some of your stuff before, so that's totally cool. Rock on.
Nice. Well, let's go ahead and get into the week in review. Of course, the absolute monster story this week. On Thursday, we finally got the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen decision from the Supreme Court. That was argued back in November, and almost every show since then, I've been getting questions. When is the Bruen decision coming? When is that decision coming down? And I broadcast daily, and so we've been saying, look, it's going to be spring, and all spring long we waited and waited and waited. Finally, we got the decision, and it was everything we had hoped for. What we were saying was the best of all possible would be that Thomas writes it and Thomas wrote it, and that it does away with may issue and nationwide will be shall issue, and it puts restrictions on the scrutiny that is going forward, and it did that too. So we really did get the best we could have gotten, is what we got out of the Supreme Court this week.
I really think that with the outcome and with the people that are here on the show today, this should be just declared a, party day. This is a party to a party with your hosts right here. We got Paul, we got Tony, we got Charlie, we got me. We're just here to celebrate. We're here to maybe breathe a sigh of relief, but also to continue to be on our toes. Because as all of us know, what this means is that everyone who is very anti-rights and anti-gun they're scrambling now to put up whatever they can to try to block this, change this, defeat this, or just challenge it in any way, shape, or form. So while I'm putting on my proverbial and figurative party hat right now, I'm also going to be keenly aware, and all of us should be, of what these legislators who are against us are going to be trying to do in the background. Or in the foreground.
Yeah.
They're not hiding. Some of them are not hiding.
Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, came right out and said, look, we're going to make it as difficult as we can. And has gone as far as to say we're probably going to ignore this.
Yeah.
This, Teresa Einiger brings this up often when she shares an article about somebody that's a criminal in New Jersey that's breaking the law, and she says, this person can carry, they're a criminal, how come I can't? This person has a high cap, so-called high cap magazine, I can't. How come I can't do this? And I hate saying this, if we have these laws and we don't pay attention to them, then what do we need them for? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, because I live in Jersey, these criminals going to have the guns they have. You're not going to do anything about it. They ignore the law. But when the government itself starts ignoring the law, why am I paying attention to their laws? If the Supreme Court has ruled the justifiable need is no longer applicable, what's holding me back since I have permission to carry in 30-something states with Florida, with Utah, with Virginia, with Connecticut carry permits? Why am I going to pay attention to the state that's ignoring the Supreme Court? So yes, I'm immediately putting in my paperwork for a carry permit in Jersey, and I'm going to try to abide by the law. But if the state isn't abiding by the law, why should I? Just a question. Not saying I'm doing it. Just
Right.
putting it out.
The more that I become a gun guy, the more I realize I'm I don't want to say less conservative, but the more I'm libertarian. So if the government makes these laws and they don't have to pay attention to them, and the criminals aren't going to pay attention to laws, then why should I? You know what I mean? Like my deal is this: I want to have a good time as well. If everyone's breaking the laws, then why don't I break the laws too? Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm becoming more and more libertarian and saying, hey, listen, you know what? What's the big deal? What's the big deal with a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds? What's the difference between an old one and a new one? Why, if other people are breaking laws, why can't I? I want to feel special too. This is really what it comes down to. You know, I want to feel special. You've got high cap magazines. I want high cap magazines. How come you can have them and I can't?
And I do want to remind everybody, if you want to get a comment in, I'm going to start putting comments up here real soon. If you want to get a comment in, comment on either the live Facebook or live YouTube feed, or if you have a Twitter account. Yeah, and by the way, you should have seen between Thursday, yesterday, and this morning, there has been a total and complete meltdown on Twitter. It's been glorious to watch. But if you have a Twitter account, you can tweet with the hashtag Bullet Podcast. That gets to me almost immediately, and I'll get it on the air. But I'm going to, John Petrolino.
I like the meme that you put up yesterday, Paul, that said, I haven't seen the liberals this upset since yesterday.
Yes. Yes. And I have to admit I stole that one. So
look, we all did. Let's face it.
I noticed several people grabbed it from me, and yeah, absolutely. It's once a meme's out in the wild, man, it's fair game. I at least let people know that I've stolen it. So anyway, let me get this comment up. John Petrolino, who by the way is going to be on the Bullet on Monday with Charlie. New York Attorney General did send out a notice that justifiable need is no longer a requirement. That is awesome. For all of our friends that live in New Jersey, I would recommend you hightail it to, and I'm not being a New Jersey resident myself, I don't know where you go apply, but I would get that application in while it's still fresh in their minds that you do not need to have a pressing, need. So the justifiable need, I would get out there and as long as you've got the other requirements, I'd get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you got your training requirements. I'm sorry. Yeah, your training requirements, and it's online. I think it's online. If it's the same way as your pistol purchase permit, you might need to get. I don't know if you do. If you need to get that little yellow piece of paper from your PD that has your police department's code on it. So when you go online and you punch in the code, it tells them which police department it belongs to, because the online thing goes to the state police. So that's the only thing I have to say about that.
This kind of reminds me of when they had Freedom Week a couple years ago in California, when they said that the magazines that hold more than 10 rounds were okay to get, and everyone bought everybody started just shipping magazines to addresses in California. People in New Jersey need to, they just they're going through the phone book and sending everyone high cap mags, standard capacity magazines. But I think the folks in New Jersey need to do the same thing and say, hey, listen, you know what? Before they go and change the laws on us, we need to get all of our applications in and completely flood them with getting this process done. And I saw someone say this. They said they're restoring our rights, not giving us rights. They're restoring our rights.
Absolutely. It's all in the language, isn't it? I mean, it's very interesting, too. If we can go back to the governor of New York, if anyone watched her little spiel that she gave just minutes after the decision came down, it's amazing. And again, you know, the body language and the words, the choice of words and phrasing that she's utilizing. I actually took some notes on this because I was this is so typical of anti-rights individuals, where I just have to point this one out first. Maybe we can go back to some other ones, but literally towards the end, she says, this is a dark day. I mean, those are her words. It's a dark day for America, that we haven't been in this kind of environment since our forefathers at the time of muskets. And she says, and I quote, I am prepared to go back to muskets. So there you go, New York. Just go ahead and grab some muskets, carry those around. I mean, how much damage could a musket ball do anyway? I mean, that's nothing compared to, I mean,
a 50 caliber musket ball.
Yeah, musket ball. What is that going to do? I mean, that's nothing. That you know, is like the same kind of ammunition sufficient for hunting deer, black bear, or like a modern 20 gauge. I mean, you're good, New York. Just your governor said so. Go get your muskets and carry them on the streets. She said she's prepared.
I will say this. When the governor converts her security detail to muskets, that's when I'll take her seriously.
Yeah, and by the way, she did say, we don't back down, we fight back. Is that okay for her to say that? Is that potentially inciting? I thought that was very interesting. Did anyone else catch that? Literally word for word, we don't back down, we fight back.
That, to me, sounds like a threat. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to pull up, you know, I'm going to pull up Beavis and Butthead and say, are you threatening me? Are you threatening me? Right?
Like I said, if y'all haven't watched it, watch it. There's plenty other little tidbits I might bring up, but I'm still processing it. You know, it's amazing to see and hear. Like you said, there's a meltdown. Watch the meltdown right there with her. It's fantastic.
So
if a pro-gun person says they're not going to abide by the law and they're going to fight back against it, you'd get red flagged.
Yes,
of course.
Also, if we said that, exactly, and if we said that, our eyebrows didn't move like hers don't. Like, what is up with that?
It's kind of hard to move those eyebrows, man. They're tattooed on.
Oh, is that what it is? It's like Botox and tattoos. It is weird, you know? I'm like, look, somebody needs to shake that extra sketch up. Shake it up so it can be redrawn.
Oh.
I've actually got a mini Etch-a-Sketch right here since you mentioned that. And one of my coworkers made a cute little gun. You probably can't see it there, but I thought that was so brilliant to take a tiny Etch-a-Sketch and make a firearm in it. Anyway, that was random, but I had to mention it.
John Petrolino mentioned that magazines are still in waiting at SCOTUS. And I would expect next term, now they're just finishing this term up. Now, there's the final opinions from the Supreme Court are going to be released on Monday. The big ones are out. They held them for towards the end. But the final opinions to be released will be released on Monday. I would expect next term that they'll be taking up a lot more. And with the current makeup of the court, I hope they go ahead and take up the magazine restrictions as well. And speaking of magazines, I spoke with Tom Walls, was the Training Friday person, and we spoke about the Washington State magazine ban that's coming up on July the 1st. And it's the 25th today, so we're coming up within a week of that taking effect. The 15th of this month, I'm not going to mention the business I ordered from, but I ordered 2 magazines for my car CM9. And I'm going to give this company some leeway, but they said they were in stock and they still are processing the order. They still have not shipped. I'm going to give this company the benefit of the doubt and thinking they are sending, cargo planes to Washington State filled with 30-round magazines. But July 2nd, I'm gonna be on the phone with this company saying, look.
Right, it's like the that old Dennis Leary movie, Operation Magazine Drop, right?
Yeah.
Just flying over, dropping pallets of magazines.
Lee says, I see ammo demand going up over the long term. A firearm purchase never ends at once. I bet Clay Sports will see an increased participation as first-time handgun purchasers recognize the joy and frustration of Clay Sports. That could very well be. The next firearms competition I'm in will be my first, and the reason that is I am highly competitive, and if I'm in a competition, I want to win the thing. And so if I get into competitive shooting, I'm going to have the $4,500 race gun. I'm going to put 5,000 rounds through that race gun to make sure I'm tuned up. I don't have the money to be as competitive as I want to be.
Let's face it. I mean, people should buy more shotguns because that was Joe Biden's advice when he was the number 2 guy.
That's right.
Yes.
Buy a shotgun.
Buy a shotgun.
Buy a shotgun.
Buy a shotgun.
Yeah, and if somebody is trying to break into your house, just step out onto the patio like that's safe to start with. Fire off a couple shots out of your double barrel, and they'll just go away.
I think that makes sense. It totally sounds legit. I'm looking for a new house now, and I'm just going to install an anti-aircraft gun on the roof. That way I don't even have to step outside. I can just send some 88s up in the air. Between 0 and 20,000 feet, don't mess with the kids. That's all I'm saying.
It's going to go real well in New Jersey.
Yeah, well, it'll bring the property values down. That way I don't have to pay so much in property tax.
Smart
you
move.
are a thinking man.
Jersey does have a little bit of an issue with property taxes, I heard.
Yeah, they go up like a sport. It's really great. So I have to keep an eye on it because when we're looking for a home right now, and I have to factor in how much will I get paid when I retire, because the property tax can keep going up, and you might not be able to live in your home. I was actually working on a home, and they paid $55,000 a year in property tax.
Good Lord!
Yeah, believe. I was like, no, thank you. I'd move out of state.
Right. That's insane.
Yeah. One other story, and this, as soon as Thursday, the Supreme Court decision happened, it of course kicked the anti-gunners into high gear. I'm trying to remember in my head, and it's a little confusing right now. I think it was Wednesday night they had the agreement come together where the additional senators came aboard, and the compromise, and I hate that word in this. A compromise means we get something, they give something, we give something, they get something. They got, what'd they give us? Nada. The compromise gun bill made it through the Senate. On Friday, it got introduced and passed through the House, and it got signed this morning. As I see it, there are two dangers in this bill: the red flag law push, and then there is no federal red flag law, but they're pushing for the states to do it, and the detriment of rights for 18 to 21-year-olds. Now they're opening up the records of 18 to 21-year-olds, including mental health records. And that is kind of a nose under the camel's nose under the tent for me, because at what point are they going to, I'm just waiting to see a 32-year-old get denied because of something they did when they were 14. I swear to you, that's going to happen.
I've had a couple clients that have come to me to take a class to get their license, and they've had sealed records. And in their sealed record, one guy was shooting a telephone pole worker with a BB gun. And he still got his license, but I had to say, listen, you've got to tell the police before they do the background check that this happened when you were a teenager, and this might come up. And if you don't tell them and it comes up, you're not going to be able to get your gun license, or there's going to be a problem. But if you tell them, I don't want to say it's okay. You've let them know. If you don't let them know, then that's going to be a problem. You got to come out and be forward with all the stuff that happened even when you were a kid.
Yeah. But this is going for the Knicks, and again, I don't think there should be a Knicks. I think I seen a story this morning. I did not get it in show notes. I'm sorry, but it referenced the big mass murder that happened in 1963 that never really happened, that caused the 1964 Gun Control Act, the 1968 Gun Control Act, where we all had serialized firearms and you couldn't buy firearms through mail order anymore. There was none of that before we got the serialized firearms, and you couldn't buy. Nobody used M1 Garand to take down a school. This stuff never happened until gun control came in. And honestly, the biggest killer of kids is the Gun-Free School Zones Act that was ushered through the Senate by Joe Biden. Before the watershed for school shootings was Columbine in 1990. The Gun-Free School, 1998. I'm sorry, Gun-Free School Zones Act went through in 1990.
Yeah, I mean, we all know he's not good for this, and we all know that people die in the gun-free zones, and we also all know that criminals look for easy victims, and when they go to a gun-free zone, everyone's going to be an easy victim because nobody can fight back. And I, teaching classes, getting into all this over the last several years, the Aurora movie theater shooting, the Batman shooting, it's sometimes known as, he was the first mass shooter that stopped shooting when the police got there. It wasn't suicide by police, or suicide by police, or flat out suicide. When the police got there, he stopped shooting. And honestly, that made me start to think that maybe I should get a crimson trace so I could put a little red dot on the dude's chest if I was at a movie theater, because where the red dot is, that's where the blood starts to come out. And it made me start to rethink that, because he looked for a gun-free zone where he could carry where other people weren't carrying, so he could go in and shoot as many people as he wanted until the cops came.
Yeah.
Yeah, he drove past several other movie theaters closer to his own home to get to that one, specifically knowing it was quote unquote gun-free. And that's the signage, and that's the knowledge, and that was his hope that nobody would be able to protect themselves.
Well, and he also, with that one, there were a lot of people in the theater that were in cosplay. He was dressed in cosplay. He was hoping just to walk on by and not get arrested. He was hoping to get away with it.
Yeah.
And we also forget one thing, and they keep reminding us, they keep leaving this off. He had bomb-making materials and bomb set-up explosives in his apartment.
In his home.
In his home. Columbine had explosives set up throughout the school.
Yeah.
These were also bombings, which of course are left out, because truthfully, if you start going, they came in with guns and they came in with bombs, that would be terrorism, and that would be a totally different thing, wouldn't it? It'd be a totally different column. It'll be a totally different thought process in the media and the way the story is carried. but it's not, for a reason.
And
Because
why?
the whole thing is gun control. It is not about saving lives. It's not about reporting a story like it happened. It's about pushing a narrative that there's nothing we can do except ban guns. And that's a lie.
It really boggles my mind. I listen to the NPR station, which I'm going to speak freely here. There's a couple of liberal wackos. I used to listen to them back in the 90s because I found it entertaining. And then after I became a gun guy, I still listen to them because it was interesting. And since Trump was elected, I can't take, like, I don't know, 48 seconds and then I'm done. That's all I can take. But I tried listening to them, and they keep talking about gun safety. We need new gun safety regulations. And I want to call in and say, you're not looking for gun safety. You're looking for gun abstinence. That's really what you guys want.
Well, it's the same thing again, going back to the governor of New York. She said, hey, we are working with experts all across the nation, the legal experts, to look at what our opportunities and our objectives are. She also mentioned Everytown. So there you go. It's very clear. They're not looking for experts. They're not looking for true gun safety advocates, which is the term that they've claimed for themselves. They are looking for ways to pull guns out of the hands of folks who truly need them for protection or for safety, or whatever their reason is totally irrelevant at this point anyway.
The best gun safety expert in the United States is Masada Ayub. Number 2 is in the lower right corner of our screen. And Kathy Hochul did not get a hold of you, Tony, did she?
I'd have to check my messages because I do get so many calls from politicians, but I weed them out. But I'll check. She might have slid into my. Well, she might have slid into my DMs. I'll have to check.
See, I thought when you saw a call from New York, you probably realized it was someone asking about your car warranty.
Oh no! When I saw the call from New York, I thought it was the guys from the gun experiment calling, and so I booted that to voicemail because, well, they're always harassing me ever since they were on Charlie's show.
That's right. They showed their face on my show, man.
All right, let me get some comments in here. Pete over at Gun Websites. In my opinion, dangers are, who is a seller? Anyone who intends to make a profit. The second, this changes NICS too easily. Third, this added 3 more mandatory minimum sentences, and they've never been effective. Yeah, they're looking to change who needs how an FFL is assigned, and the other thing that I do not know if it's a part of this bill or not, but I know the ATF has been trying to get rid of the Curios and Relics FFL, and I know for a fact they've made that very much harder to get. But yeah,
wow. I got a CNR license almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whopping $30, to send in the form, and I think it was good for 3 years. And I actually used that to parlay that to be a gun collector. And as a gun collector, I could apply for a machine gun license, and I spent $100 and got a machine gun license.
So why weren't you the one firing the full auto when we did this?
Let's be clear. I don't have $30,000 for one. My deal is this: when people ask for my license, I want to say my driver's license or gun license, and I don't crack a smile. I look at them in the eyes, and I want to be able to say, when they ask for my license, I say, sure. Do you want to see my driver's license, my gun license, or my machine gun license? Which one would you like?
I've not
been a musket license.
Oh, come on, Beth. The Second Amendment's only for muskets. You don't need a permit for those.
Yeah, that's true. That's the only one we can all have freely, and that the governor of New York fully supports.
Right.
That's why I haven't received her phone call, because she sent it by horseback, my message.
That's it.
So I should probably get it in a few days.
That's it. Right. That's the only means of communication she supports as well. That's a very good point.
Yeah, that's probably why I took. I get a knock on the door, says CandyGram from Mongo. I learned from her.
Do what he say. Do what he say.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the fact that nobody under 30 got the joke or the reference.
Probably.
Some brilliant cinematography that we're referencing there. Anyway, Pete over at Gun Website says, for what it's worth, there are as many CNR FFLs as there are gun shops with FFLs. I'll easily believe that.
Oh, sure. I did a what did I do? I did a how to get an FFL class about a year and a half ago, just about the time I applied for my just after I applied for my CNR, and they were saying if you apply for if you apply, there's several different types of FFLs, and you can apply. They're like, I think it's $100 each to apply for those, and if you apply for 2 of them, you can apply for a third one for free. So you could apply for one to sell firearms. You could apply for one to make ammunition, and you could sell for one to make machine guns as well.
Okay.
And this is completely unrelated, but it's going back to Blazing Saddles. My phone, on my phone, I used to have some horrible pop song that every time I plugged my phone into my radio in my car, it played this song. And I don't know what this song is. I hated it. Some young girl act that somehow ended up on my phone. And my daughter's like, Dad, you can take this off. So my daughter went through my phone and took off all these horrible songs. The first thing that comes up now is Frankie Lane's He Wrote a Blazing Saddles theme. So every time I plug my phone into my car, he wrote a blazing saddle. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do want to get you. I want to go back a little bit, at least tangentially, to the Supreme Court decision. And Fox 2 out of San Francisco put out a news story. San Francisco sheriff hesitant to quickly issue concealed carry permits. And what I want to take out of this, I did a little bit of fast research. The sheriff in San Francisco County, that's a county that, according to the 2020 census, had 866,606 residents. And he took office in January of 2020. So in 2.5 years, he's issued 0 concealed carry permits. And he says he's really not interested in issuing any more now. My boss may have something to say about that.
Right. So this might be a good time to chip in $20 to the SAF, so somebody from San Francisco can say that he hasn't issued any in 2.5 years. Why is he going to start to issue them now?
Yeah, it's if you live in San Francisco and you would like a concealed carry permit, get a hold of somebody at SAF. Well, you're going to have to apply to start with and get denied, but then get a hold of the SAF.
Absolutely. Interesting how the sheriff said he understands the need to strike a balance between constitutional rights and public safety, but, quote, more guns in the community does not mean the community is more safe. Okay, you've got some statistics, some proof. Where's this coming from? You clearly haven't given it a chance if you're giving 0 permits out there, because the only people who are going to have guns in your community are the illegal folk. That doesn't sound like a good balance between constitutional rights and public safety. That sounds like the total opposite.
Yes.
It's anarchy. It's anarchy. Just let all the bad guys get their guns however they please. But God forbid I give any of these law-abiding citizens a chance to protect themselves.
He should just pass some permits to see what's in it, just to see how
Maybe he doesn't know how. He's new.
He's only been in office 2.5 years. He hasn't figured it out yet.
Right. He probably didn't work his way up the ranks either.
Well, understand when you take over
for what?
Well, when you take over a new position, understand they give you things like they tell you where all the menus for the takeout places are that are good. So he's probably still working his way through that drawer. And as soon as he gets to the how to give out permits drawer, he'll probably start right away.
There you go. That's it. He's got to get through the delicious Chinese food options first. That's a lot.
Hey, listen, bubble tea is important.
It is. Can he balance that between constitutional right and public safety? Where does bubble tea fit in? It's a higher priority, much higher priority.
And then of course, New York has got they're convening a special session. California is convening a special session, although California is in session all year long anyway. And I want
it's extra special session.
Yes, like double secret probation,
double secret special session.
Yes.
Yeah, triple dog dare.
Yes.
Right.
So little time, so many rights to suppress.
Oh my gosh, that should be a T-shirt. Who's on it? Who's on it?
Right. Yeah.
Where's Yehuda?
We need to get this. We need to get the show to Yehuda. Yeah.
Maybe Hawaii needs that shirt.
You know, and Hawaii's another one that is effectively no issue. Earlier this spring, I don't think it made it into law yet, but they were floating, making their concealed carry permits good for 6 months, and you had to have something like 80 hours of training every time you applied for a permit, renewal or new.
See? This is why, as much as I support education, I'm an educator, I've been teaching and instructing for more than 2 decades. This is exactly proof why we cannot support these mandates, because somebody in control is going to do something outlandish like that. And we're going to be Japan. You know, it's going to be so ridiculously difficult to ever have a firearm. That's what they want.
Yeah, and I mean, Charlie has to get his teaching permit somewhere other than Utah, because that's the only place he teaches firearm safety. What, you think I'm going to forget? It's a joke that's going on 4 months now.
I have a Utah class on Wednesday night in Worcester.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, they moved Worcester to Utah for you?
They did. It's Worcester, Utah. Worcester, Utah. Oh my gosh. I love my people. I really do.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
You know, that policeman went by you at a really high rate of speed, Tony.
That's the second one. I guess somebody told him there's a black guy driving through Sussex County.
And he's got some kind of 2A gun shirt on. Watch out.
Right.
Yeah, I just drove past Picatinny Arsenal, so who knows what's happening.
Wow.
Yep. Welcome to West Jersey. I just drove almost 2 hours trying to get here to make this speech at the distillery. So I can't wait to get there. Anthony Calandro should be there already. And hopefully everybody's still there when I arrive at 2 o'clock for the 1 o'clock opening.
Oh boy.
Nice.
I'm a supermodel, dang it. I'm fashionably late.
That's right. You got to be.
I gotta say, it's so good to hear that there is gun stuff going on in occupied territory. I really do. I don't know if you guys know this. John Petrolino and I went to Gun Prom at the San Diego County Gun Owners this past weekend. They had 750 people at this event. 750 people. There was one thing that they did where they raised, I think that was a paddle auction, and I'm not quite sure what that is, but they're raising money to raise money. They raised over $22,000 for one of their for one of the groups that they give stuff to. 750 people. You know, I've been to these in a few states now. Been to different events, and I couldn't believe it. 750 people in San Diego County. Unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was invited and I could not go because I'm doing a lot of things here. But I saw pictures of you guys with Ursula Williams.
Yes, I interviewed Ursula. She's a lot of fun.
Ursula's an awesome human being. Met her a few years ago at NRA, and we hit it off ever since. We talk every couple of weeks or so. We try to. she's another one that's a competitive shooter, that's podcasting, but also that's a 2A advocate that is a competitive shooter, because a lot of them aren't, sadly. I think they all should be, but hey, listen, you can only have so many irons in the fire, I guess. But it's really great because she's fighting in Arizona and she also travels. She'll probably be at one of my diversity shoots sooner or later. We couldn't get our schedule together last year because she was going to come to the Heritage Guild in Pennsylvania in last September, and didn't make it out. But hey, Charlie and John did, which was awesome. So I appreciate that. You guys came out and made me look good, like I had some friends that were important or something.
That were cool, right? Exactly. We went to 2 of them last year.
Yes, you did. And I really
So that was-
appreciate it, especially when you left your microphone behind and I started leaving messages on it. That was really great, your little recorder.
That was John, not me.
Oh, that was John? It
That was
like,
John,
hey,
yeah.
what's this? It was like, John said, I left my recorder there. Oh, man, I found it, and it was showtime, baby. I started recording all kinds of stuff.
It's like the disposable camera at a wedding, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you
Those are
find
bad.
that, it's on.
What does this button do? It says record. Let's just do it.
Hello, everybody. Hello, children.
Getting back to comments, Gerald over on the Facebook side, a sheriff is supposed to enforce the law, not make it. Right there with you, man. Somebody needs to inform this guy, the sheriff of San Francisco County, of that.
Well, listen, the sheriff,
Yeah.
sheriff
He hasn't
of
gotten to that
Nottingham,
drawer yet.
yeah, the sheriff of Nottingham hasn't gotten to that drawer yet.
That's right. He's still working on the takeout. We've discussed this. He's got a long way to go.
You know how
This
many
is-
bubble tea places they are in San Diego?
No, you can't have us on the podcast. You can't have us together.
Right. I hope a bubble tea place is a place to eat.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Maybe not over there in California. Who knows?
Who knows?
Right.
Well, we got a little bit of time here, but one thing I want to bring up, and coming up, I believe, not this coming Monday, but the Monday after, Rick Ector is going to be on Polite Society podcast. Excuse me. And the end of July, he's got the diversity shoot, or not the diversity shoot, the women's training event up in Detroit. Charlie, are you going to be able to make it to that this year? I know you were able to go last year.
I was not able to make it last year. I am planning on it this year.
Okay.
But I'm not telling Rick, because if he doesn't know, then he won't bust my cookies.
Oh boy, that's right, because he sure did that last year.
He's going to bust my cookies regardless. I think that's what it really comes down to.
Ooh, I wish I would have known that strategy. I made the mistake of telling him I was coming, and I don't think I could make it because I do have a diversity shoot around the same time.
Oh, man.
I'm going to have to make sure he knows that, because then maybe he can, like...
Yeah, I'm going to deflect. I'm going to say, listen, you're that Tony Simon. Thought you guys were boys, but no. He says he's making it, and they don't show up. You can't trust that dude.
Oh, great.
Oh,
If I can shift the attention, that would be awesome.
Blame judo. Ha! Missed me.
Oh my god.
Things like the diversity shoot, things like Rick introducing quite literally every year 1,000 to 2,000 women to shooting. Bringing new shooters in is what is going to keep expanding our gun rights and defending the gun rights we have. Detroit isn't exactly known as a bastion of gun freedom. New Jersey isn't obviously a bastion of gun freedom. But doing things like having these diversity shoots, bringing new people into the fold, honestly is what's doing the best to expand our influence into the community in general.
Yeah, I have.
We need that.
At GunProm, I snagged a picture of John and I with Ursula and with Rich Umel, who is the producer of Gun Owners Radio, and he's, I believe, he's a Filipino gentleman. And so I was going through my pictures with one of my friends the other day after I got home, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, look at this! There's black people and a Filipino guy." She's like, "This is what you should put out there. It's not just overweight, middle-aged white guys, or as Michael Schwartz liked to call them, pale, male, and stale." And she's like, this is what people need to see. They need to see that it's not just white guys that are out shooting and that are gun owners.
Well, and they also need to see that it's the normalcy of the responsible gun owner. I think so many times when we got all these messages coming out from the governors and legislators and all the folks that are freaking out over the Supreme Court decision, they have painted this picture, and there's an ongoing stereotype that's perpetuated of everyone with a gun is a scary, horrible, violent person, and I'm offended by that. I am not scary, horrible, or violent. And having guns in the home has become extremely normal for my children and for friends and family members. And, the more I get to reach out and speak to those folks that are kind of new to the gun side of things, or maybe they're thinking about it, it is always so refreshing for them to go, wow, you have guns? And then, oh, you teach people, you're a firearms instructor. I love that, because they're like, I'm wrong. You can see it on their faces. They have realized that those myths and those misconceptions and the misinformation, needs to be looked at a second or third or fourth time, because they've been so accustomed to it and so used to it, they've accepted it. And now, again, to see that on the faces of people going, oh, wow. I've said it before, probably on this podcast, that 90% of the people that I speak to, when I tell them, yes, I'm a firearms instructor, I teach people how to be safe with guns, 90% of them will look at me and say, wow, that's awesome. I've wanted to take up the, training with firearms, and I've been interested in guns, but I didn't know where to start. And if I can get that kind of reaction, and we can get other folks out there to normalize firearms and firearms ownership, then we're breaking down that stupid stereotype that they're not just male, pale, stale, but that we're violent or aggressive, or that we're doing this out of hatred. And none of that is true. For me, and Tony, you've said it too, it's out of love, and we've got to show them that.
Yeah,
amen.
I gotta say, I am not scary. I may be scary at times, but I'm not violent. I'm not, I used to say I'm not a trainer. Well, now actually I am a trainer. Went through the USCCA curriculum. I am now a USCCA certified instructor. I'll be doing my first classes sometime in August. I'm going to be helping out with Rick's thing in Detroit in July. I'm going to do that first before I go do my own classes. But the reason that Susan went through the same time that I did to become an instructor, the reason we did it is not for the income. It's not for the look at me, I want to do this. It's more for the sharing aspect of it. I've been blessed through the podcast to be able to get to know some amazing people, and I've learned a whole bunch of really, really cool things. And I get to share that, and going through the USCCA curriculum gave me credentials to where I'm kind of official, and I have the backing of an official certificate behind my name. So,
right, you've gone legit.
If you go into firearms instructor, becoming a firearms instructor for the money, you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
There's not. If I wanted to make money, I'd go back to stripping and not leave this firearms thing alone. But I'm here for you people. Yeah.
Not just a gun buddy. Not just a gun buddy.
Is that what you used to say when you were stripping? Listen, I'm here for you people.
I'm here for you people. It's not about me. It's about you. I'm blessing you with my near presence.
Oh my
And that's
gosh.
why I'm in this Second Amendment fight, just to make you people. But right,
And can I punctuate that by saying this is the face of firearms here? These 4 squares, these 4 boxes that you see on your screen, everybody, here is the normal average firearms owner in America today. Right here. Used to be a stripper. No, not me, Tony.
See? I don't know if we should say this, but what have I got to lose? So when we talked about this, when we talked about this after the show last time we were together, when we talked about it, we said we're going to do one of these things is not like the other, and we're going to have people guess. And we're like, are they going to guess it's Beth because she's female, or Tony because he's black? Like we're not sure which one it's supposed to be.
We got
love this community. Love it.
Great question that goes directly to what we're talking about. Spartan 6 says, I served in both the Army and Marines, retired medically. What's the best way to start becoming a verified instructor? Where do I go? There are 2 nationally recognized routes to do that. The NRA and USCCA are the 2 major nationally recognized ones, with a bunch of smaller ones. Susan looked into both. I really only looked into USCCA. NRA is a little harder to get. USCCA more fit my schedule, and to be honest, I was able to, with Susan and I doing it together, we were able to get everything a lot to make our schedule work a lot easier. For us, it was one weekend. There's a bunch of online learning you did beforehand, and then you went through this weekend of classes. So most of it classroom, some of it live fire. And through my 10 years of broadcasting, and honestly 10 years of taking classes with people, astoundingly great people like Masada Ayub, like Kathy Jackson, I'm not going to lie to you, I knew most of what was there. It was just verification. So, but I highly recommend it. If you've been around firearms, if you want to share, I would highly recommend it. I went through USCCA. I endorsed USCCA for their instructor program. I don't know about NRA as far as their instructor program. And you all know what I feel about NRA for other things. So,
sure. My attitude is this. I think if you're not a gun person and you want to learn about firearms, I'm going to say if you're an NRA instructor, it's like the gateway drug, because people that aren't gun folks know the NRA, but people that aren't gun folks don't know the USCCA, and it's certainly not a slander or anything against the USCCA. But I think like the anti-gun wackos want to go after the NRA. They don't want to go after the USCCA. So if somebody's looking for beginning level training and they want to, if they have to take a class in order to get a certificate so they can apply for their license, then I think the NRA is probably the way to go. But I think it's good. I certainly think it's good to have both.
Well, one thing I've noticed with USCCA is they will, once you get certified, they will bend over backwards to get you started. They will throw everything they have at you to get you moving. So all you've got to do, and you don't even really have to ask for help. They'll contact you and say, "Here's how we can help you. What do you want us to do?" So we are coming up on the top of the hour. Why don't we go ahead and get started? I think Tony's probably getting close to where he needs to be, although he's frozen on the screen right now. Tony,
hey.
Anything you want to plug on our way out the door, man?
All right. I don't know if I'm still frozen, but I just arrived. DiversityShoot.com. If you guys want to help us out with our mission, that'll be great. On the 29th, which is Wednesday, I have a diversity shoot at Recoil Range in Monroe, New Jersey. So you can go visit Simon Says Train on both Instagram and Facebook, and click on the Eventbrite link and purchase a ticket, and I'll see you there.
Ooh, I like the Max
Happy
Headroom
you guys
effect at the
let me
end.
be
That
on
was
the
awesome.
show, even though I did drive like 100 miles.
Yeah,
All right, guys, I gotta go. I'm here.
yeah.
All right, rock on.
Thank you, Tony. All right, we're gonna
Nice.
we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put that one up because I think he was going back into his stripper routine, out of habit. But
Oh my.
Charlie, other than putting out a gun grab today, anything else you want to plug? What else is going on, bud?
I am just keeping the stagecoach rolling. I was in California. I filmed 5 shows out there. I've got a couple other shows in the can. The next episode that I'm going to be putting out is with the great one, Evan Knappen, who's a Second Amendment attorney in New Jersey and lives and practices in New Jersey and lives up in New Hampshire as well. So that's what I'm going to spend my weekend doing, editing the show with Evan Knappen. So please check that out at writingshotgunwithcharlie.com.
I got to say, you and I were messaging when you were recording that I think it was just after you recorded that interview with Evan Knappen. I am extremely jealous because you got to smoke some high quality cigars and hang out with an incredibly cool guy. So
I love my gig. I love it.
Beth, is there anything you would like to push, anything you'd like to talk about?
I love my gig too, and I'm staying busy as always with the USCCA. You can find us at usconcealedcarry.com. My big thing right now is trying to refine and work on the completion of our children's curriculum, so we're really excited about being able to offer that very soon. Other than that, please come jump on social media at Beth619 on Instagram or Pacifiers and Peacemakers with Beth Alcazar on Facebook. Again, I will post random thoughts, events, other things going on in my life, and try to keep some of the opinions to myself unless it has something to do with desserts, candy, or cheesecake in particular. So,
all right.
I think we just found Beth's weaknesses.
Absolutely. Yep.
Cheesecake is her kryptonite.
Oh.
Totally.
In that case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to shut this one down, folks. As always, it has been a blast hanging out with these folks. I want to encourage you to go ahead and join me 5 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday next week. It's going to be a great week. I do expect more good news to be coming. We got some challenges coming up, but I do expect more good news coming next week. Thanks for watching, everybody.